Miles Greenwood is at full back. Then it's Lee Patterson, John Goddard, who is past fit despite an arm injury, James Haley, Damien Gibson, Thomas Coyle and Ben Black. So no Graham Holroyd for Halifax. He failed a late fitness check. In the forwards, Paul Southern, Mark Gleeson, Danny Heaton, Mark Flanagan, Richard Varkulis and Paul Smith, who captains the side at loose forward. Now on the bench, Joe Walsh, Andy Bowman. A bit of good news for Halifax, the return of David Wrench after a back injury, and Frank Watini for the coach, Matt Calland. He's had his work cut out this week. By comparison, it's been plain sailing for the Salford City Reds. No injury problems for them, and a Super League place guaranteed with the new licences awarded. It's Carl Fitzpatrick at full-back, Matt Gardner, Stuart Littler, John Wilshire, Paul White, Robbie Paul, who was their only doubt really, and Richard Myler. And then in the forwards, Adam Sidlow, Malcolm Alker as ever the captain, Craig Stapleton, Steve Bannister, Luke Adamson and Jordan Turner. And on the bench, Paul Heighton, Stephen Ratchford, Philip Luluai and Ian Sibbett. The coach is Sean McRae. So Salford top of the table. Well, there is Graham Holroyd in fact, and he went through a pretty extensive fitness check before the game. A groin injury is the problem, but he wasn't going to pass that fitness test really. It was a very distant prospect, and given the conditions here tonight, very slippery. The rain just about easing off, but it's been very slippery. Holroyd not able to play, and he will be a big loss for Halifax, Barry.
He will, but Halifax can't worry about who isn't playing. They've just got to deal with who is playing. Salford are at the top of the tree, and National League One has only 18 rounds, and after tonight there's only 3 games left, so it's Salford to give away, and Halifax just lying in second, ready to pounce. There's a couple of key battles. Thomas Coyle and Ben Black for Halifax in the halves against Robbie Paul and Richie Myler. Both of them can make or break a team and can score and set tries up.
Dave Merrick is the referee for this one then, and Halifax up against it, but we've seen Halifax before up against it and they've turned on really gutsy performances, and they'll be fancying to do that tonight. And great incentive for them as well, because Halifax were Super League licence applicants as well. It didn't come off for them, and they would love nothing better than to prove a point against Salford, who have been awarded the licence. A big motivation for them.
Halifax haven't been mentioned in the shake-up for who did and who didn't get. Certainly if you judge them on what they've done over the last 12, 18 months, then they should have been in with a real shout. There's some really positive signs at the Halifax club. None more those than Matt Callan's the coach, a young coach who has a bright future. You see his mentor at the bottom of the screen, Martin Hall, but this guy really motivates his side.
Early attempted a 40-20 there, I think, from Ben Black, but it finds the dead ball line instead. Restart on the 20 for Salford. And Halifax, if they are to close the gap, they need to win this one. They can't afford to lose this. They'll be even further adrift as Salford at the top of the table. So big incentive for this Halifax side here tonight. And they need to pick themselves up as well, because they lost last time out at Whitehaven 28-12, while Salford were cruising to a convincing win against the Lee Centurions. Here comes Salford, but met on the halfway line, and Alker, no further progress for him. It's Paul Southern, once of Salford, making the tackle. Sidlow again running into some determined resistance. Goddard it was with the tackle. He was a doubt before this game. Goddard in again with the tackle, and Gleeson there as well. Big hit from Gleeson. Myler felt that, and Turner hoists a high kick to put Miles Greenwood under pressure, and Greenwood equal to that.
As we were watching Salford warm up, they practiced the high bomb over and over again. It's quite a misty, murky night, and you see Miles Greenwood, he can't afford to take any sort of vision off that ball. He needs to catch the ball, and I think if he does, he's going to be in for a rough night. The kick chase team looks good.
Miles Greenwood celebrated his 21st birthday yesterday. He's looking forward to a birthday party. He hasn't been able to celebrate yet. He's hoping there's something to celebrate after this game. Southern tackled on his own 40-metre line and plays that ball. And Ben Black, well, a lot of pressure on his shoulders now in the absence of Graham Holroyd. Thomas Coyle as well, the young man on loan from Wigan. But it's Salford in possession with Fitzpatrick running it back strongly.
This is a part of the field. I've watched Halifax a few times this year, and this is where they're very, very strong. They look to get up off the line really quick and force the pressure. Martin Hall saying before the game that that's what they really needed to do. Against Whitehaven last week, they didn't complete the set. They respected Whitehaven too much, and they come away with the defeat.
Salford had a thrilling game against Halifax at their place, and won't want a repeat of that. 24-0 up, Halifax coming back to 24 all, late try winning it for Salford. They'll be hoping to have a little less drama here tonight. Gibson juggling with that before he brings it back, the veteran of this Halifax side, 33 years old now, in his testimonial year. Oh, and the pass, not a kind one for Greenwood.
And there's the mistake. The teams are both feeling each other out, completing the set, coming down with the kick. Ben Black passes the ball, it's just dipping in front of Miles Greenwood. Let's see what Salford can do now. They've got the players out wide, they've got the skill factor. You saw Richie Myler trying to take them on the last tackle. They're up for this, Salford, tonight.
So a good attacking position for Salford after that mistake from Greenwood. Littler now takes the first drive for this Salford side. Robbie Paul, Luke Adamson, one of the unsung heroes really of this Salford side. Luke Adamson, only 20 years old and in his third season in the first team. Alker, Myler, and then it's Stephen Bannister. Merrick calling out no lifting to the Halifax tacklers, just in case they were tempted to elevate him. Robbie Paul, Littler going on his own and getting there. The defence just dropping off him in the end. And Littler, probably to his own surprise, just found himself free. I thought they'd got him. I thought the tackle was in the process of being made, but Littler squirmed his way out of it. And he gets his 11th try of the season, and Halifax are punished for that error.
In these slippery conditions, this is what it means to the team. Halifax come up with the mistake. Miles Greenwood couldn't take that dipping ball. Salford just completing the sets, getting to the kick. Malcolm Alker playing as a middle pivot. Robbie Paul takes the ball to the line. Stu Littler, just too big, too strong, gets over the top of Ben Black. They're not afraid to play rugby league. Robbie Paul, he creates so many options because he attracts so many defenders. Stuart Littler one-on-one with Ben Black, just too strong.
The Irish international bouncing his way over the try line there, and John Wilshire, 64 goals kicked this season for the PNG international, hoping to be involved in the World Cup and a meeting with England in Townsville in October. But Wilshire with this conversion attempt to put the icing on the Littler cake. He's done that, and Salford, the start they wanted. They're ahead by 6 points to 0 here at the Shea.
You know, it's funny, me and Angela are doing a piece for Boots and All on how the role of a hooker has changed over the year. You saw Malcolm Alker at first receiver. A lot of years ago you wouldn't have seen Malcolm Alker anywhere near that ball at first receiver. Just get the ball, get the forwards going. But Stuart Littler showing great pace and great power to beat his defender one-on-one and post Salford's first points.
Something for Matt Callan to think about there as that restart goes out on the full. And that's just compounding the pressure that Halifax are under. Been a tough week for the Halifax coach with all these injuries to contend with. And it's a tough start to this game for his side as Salford are on the attack again with Bannister. Myler now. Sidlow gets the ball away to Alker and his Robbie Paul. Paul misses out Littler that time and finds Luke Adamson. Adamson is tackled by James Haley. This reshaped Halifax side obviously going to take a bit of time to adjust to one or two changes that have been forced on the side, and Salford are looking to capitalise on any early disarray. Sidlow plays the ball, Myler, and Jordan Turner is through for another try, and that was simple as well. And Jordan Turner gets try number 17 of his season, and they've exploited a weakness on the Halifax right, and now they've done it on the Halifax left.
Look at the way that the Halifax team did not help themselves. The first time they come up with a mistake, they kick the ball out on the full here, put themselves under pressure. You've got to get to that set and complete the set. Richie Myler, they're playing so well. The pivots for the side, Malcolm Alker, anything in the middle of the park, he's controlling. You've got Richie Myler here who takes the ball to life. And again, too many players in motion, Jordan Turner going through. And that's what you call a team effort, because there's that many red shirts flooding forward. The defenders do not know who's getting the ball.
Impressive performance this season from Jordan Turner, ever present, and he's only 19 years old. He's risen through the ranks, and Sean McRae is nurturing him for a Super League future. Now then, Wilshire with this conversion attempt, the other side of the field, the same effect, 2 more points, and Salford 12-0 up already. Good travelling support for the Reds here tonight. I'm delighted with what they've seen.
You picked up and it says there's too many red shirts for Halifax to deal with. It's Thomas Coyle who makes the decision to go for the player that hasn't got the ball. It goes behind that player. Jordan Turner's in all kinds of space, puts the ball down, 12-0.
Well, the restart, probably after the previous experience, was a bit of nothing from Ben Black, and Littler comfortably took it.
And this is where they're missing the calm and influence of Graham Holroyd. He'd probably get the guys in behind the sticks and say, this is how I want you to play. We've got to get to the kick, we've got to get numbers in. They're making far too many metres against us, and we can't get back and defend them. Let's start controlling the ruck, boys.
I think when you play with players every week, Tez, you almost know what one another are going to do. And there's 3 players sat there on the bench who aren't playing tonight. You bring new players in and you're not confident in what they'll do.
Myler with the kick, under a little bit of pressure, and Gibson is back there to field the ball. Popular figure here at Halifax, giving the club good service. Halifax yet to play the ball in Salford's half. Just shows what pressure they've been under here in the first 10 minutes. And they've conceded those 12 points as well. Here is Gleeson, and they get the penalty. Cheers of relief from the Halifax supporters as Sidlow is penalised there.
Adam Sidlow just putting his weight on Richard Varkulis, who wants to get up and play the ball quickly to give his team the best chance to get the best kick away.
Goddard, so now they do play the ball in the opposition half for the first time. Gleeson drops that ball off, and Flanagan, well, they'll be glad that he's here on loan. Well, Varkulis playing that ball, Mark Flanagan, it's 12. So Halifax, an opportunity maybe for them to examine this Salford defence. Four tackles gone. Just shy of that try line. Looking for a penalty. Black under pressure, gets the ball away. Scrambling defence from Salford now. 5 tackles gone. Black stabs a little kick in. Greenwood is chasing it, and in the end it's Myler who has to hack that ball dead. So a bit of pressure on the Salford defence.
Halifax are as good as any team in this division when they're in sight of their opposition's line, and Ben Black did that to great effect. The last time the Sky cameras were here, Miles Greenwood being particularly lucky on that night. Right place, right time.
Black takes that ball on halfway, and Paul Sutton brings it forward at a steady pace for Halifax. Gleeson, Danny Heaton now going across the field. Heaton,
and that's the difference. When Danny Heaton went across the line, there was too many plays. Ben Black in particular, that was having a breather. He was waiting behind, he was trying to organise the next play. You've got to play the player that's in front of you.
Southern plays the ball. Black, Paul Smith gets away from the first defender, keeps the ball alive. It's back with Black, and Black stabs the kick in. Greenwood on the chase. What a try! What a belter of a try from Halifax. And Miles Greenwood atones for that error that put them under pressure. And he does have something to celebrate on his 21st after all. But what great vision from Ben Black to put that kick in. And Salford, bit slow on the turn. Miles Greenwood very quick on the ball.
All Ben Black needs is his forwards to get him in the right parts of the field, and again come up with a spectacular kick, and that try was identical to the one he scored last time they were on the Sky cameras. Miles Greenwood has got the understanding with Ben Black. He said, kick it there, I'm going to get that try.
And now the conversion from James Haley, and Haley dinks that one over. Holroyd, the regular goal kicker, absent, but Haley able to do justice to that one. Halifax 6, Salford 12, and Halifax coming up with a great response.
Ben Black and Miles Greenwood will practice this at the end of every session. Ben Black will say to Miles, stay along that middle channel, either side of the post. Sooner or later, when the Salford defence commits itself, I'm going to put it in behind. And aren't they delighted with that response?
Just graduated from Liverpool University, Miles Greenwood, with a sports science degree. The restart, a good hanging one, and it's find its way to Paul Southern. So that's going to lift Halifax after that torrid opening. Danny Heaton. Varkulis.
He's caused some problems, Richard Varkulis, just going on the inside ball. He's a big, powerful lad who's playing in the back row tonight, normally plays in the centre, adding his bit of pace and power out on the fringes.
Gleeson, first darting run we've seen from him. He's got support on his shoulder. Paul Smith was there, but Smith was looking for somebody, couldn't find him, and they'll get the penalty. So the tables are turned. Wilshere is penalised.
And what led them into the field position the first time to get the last couple of tries is the speed of which they were playing the ball. Again, just wouldn't let Paul Smith up to play that ball.
Here's Varkulis. In the second row, we normally see him in the centres for Halifax, but because of their injury problems, that's where he's playing today. Ben Black, Flanagan on the charge, and very nearly charging his way over to that try line. But Halifax really lifted by that try from Greenwood. That's not a good ball though, and Wilshere will snap it up, and the danger is cleared for Salford.
That was a shame for Halifax. A really brave run by Flanagan. Took a nice short pass and had to be big and brave and strong on a good line, and was unlucky. They've squandered possession, and Salford need to work for the second time. Paul Sutton just wasn't confident enough to bend down. Glass back, that's called, Bill.
Paul White plays the ball. Olker, Jordan Turner now. Turner to Bannister. Bannister getting the ball away to Sidlow. Sidlow, solid figure of a player, just over the 40-metre line. Oh, Robbie Paul juggling with that one. Gets away with it. And still keeps it alive to Adamson. Adamson comes back across the field.
Salford can't afford to play touch and pass. Some offloads to players not necessarily in a better position.
Myler, Turner, chances here, numbers out wide. Wilshere will get the try. And again the Halifax defence at 6s and 7s, and it was the number 4 for Salford, John Wilshere, who capitalised on that one, and they quickly respond to that little burst of defiance from Halifax with John Wilshere's 16th try of the season.
Miles Greenwood standing right back, thought that they were going to go for the kick. Richie Myler, good little ball to Jordan Turner, who passed the ball then, and it was John Wilshere who got in. Look at taking the ball to the line, Jordan Turner onto Bannister. John Wilshere, nothing they could do about it. This is what happens when the team that plays the ball, they play on the front foot, they get the quick play the balls, and there's just no stopping. They were all standing back, the Halifax players, didn't know whether the ball was going to go high in the air or low on the ground.
So Wilshere, 2 from 2 so far. was saying before the game, this was almost like Townsville conditions. It's a humid, very still evening, very clammy, and he's landed. Oh, he's missed that one. He's missed it. I thought that was going to just drift inside, but Wilshire misses with that one. 16-6, the scoreline in favour of Sean McRae's side. Steve Sims alongside him, making a sentimental journey back to Halifax. He was coach here in the early 90s and took Halifax to third place in the table in 95-96. There he is in the centre of your screen, just before Super League started in the days of Thrum Hall. So the restart. Myler underneath it. Sidlow just stepped around Olka. The Halifax supporters appealing for obstruction there. Here's Stapleton. And the penalty will go against Halifax. Just interference there from James Haley.
The Salford forwards are starting to get on top of the opposition players. They just can't get Craig Stapleton to the ground to turn him over. They're starting to win the floor, they're starting to win the forward battle, these Salford players. You just can't give the penalties away, especially on a short pitch like Halifax.
Dave Merrick just making sure that they tap this ball where he'd indicated. Adamson. Here's Robbie Paul, Craig Stapleton and Adam Sidlow. Pretty formidable front row for Salford. Big front row. Robbie Paul's gone without that one. First real error from Salford tonight.
Robbie Paul's mind was going 10 to the dozen there. He didn't catch the ball in time. It just hits his stomach before it hits his hands. But he had loads of options on the outside of him then. They were looking to play, as they are doing all the time, Salford.
So Greenwood in possession for Halifax. Second in the table, and knowing that they really have to win this one to stand a chance of taking top spot with games running out. 3 to go after this one. And one of them coming up next week. In fact, National League One action on Thursday at 7:30. Whitehaven take on Sheffield Eagles. So we'll be at the recreation ground for that one. That's 7:30 next Thursday.
Dave Wrench is on now, Bill. He'll add some power, some pace. He'll put a spanner in the works of this Salford side.
The kick from Black does find touch. Thought that was going to go out on the full, but in actual fact he just found a bit of green inside the whitewash, but it wasn't exactly what Ben Black was hoping for.
Just too strong. Just over, as we see there.
Didn't find any green, in fact. But the scrum has been awarded. Salford's head and feed. Littler. So Salford in possession on their own 20-metre line. Here's Sidlow again, getting through plenty of work early on.
Better defence by Halifax, but they've got to get off the line a lot quicker. The first 3 steps, what you work on, and again, offside. There was no even movement there by David Wrench to get up off the line. He just didn't get back the 10. That is how quick this Salford side are playing the ball. Look at all the Halifax players. You could pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just stood there in front of Dave Merrick.
Sidlow has been replaced after his opening burst. Philip Luluai comes on.
And that is danger sign. Philip Luluai, he's so aggressive. He looks to play second phase rugby league. He's a big, strong, powerful man.
Salford ahead on the penalty count as well, 3-2. Ahead on the scoreboard, 16-6. An Alka darting run from him, skipping past the first defenders. Myler. Bannister had to just take a second snatch at that one. Plays the ball. Myler, Alka now. And here is Luluai. Just had to check as he took that pass. Didn't hit it at full ball. 4 tackles gone. And a hand in there from Halifax. Gleeson it was. Another penalty goes against them.
That's a desperate action. Halifax have been defending for a large chunk of the last 2 or 3 minutes. And it's Dave Wrench who actually has his hand on the ball. That's illegal in rugby league. Just trying to buy that extra second. I felt that Salford were a little bit flat in their attack and would be relieved to get the 2 points, would be relieved to be at this end of the park. Just keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Hold it on the line, boys, yeah?
Sean McRae sending out the signal to go for the 2 points, in fact. And Calland with a bit to think about here. But he knew it was going to be a struggle. Wiltshire then. 2 more points for this Salford side. 18-6 they lead now here at the Shea.
And they're just happy with chewing up the yards in the middle of the park. They're attacking the same defenders. So that means, like David Wrench, they can't get back to the line. The penalties that they're awarding Salford, but Salford just chipping away at that scoreboard. They're now 2 scores ahead of him, and that really forces you, when your points are going against you and it's a tabletop clash, that forces you into making the offloads when maybe they're not on. So it's putting the Halifax team under pressure. But they've just sent on now, Big Frank Watine. He's on to give him a lift.
Martin Hall alongside Matt Callan, the football manager here at Halifax. And Big Frank is on. So Philip Leloy on for Salford, and Big Frank on. And Big Frank and Big Phil almost meet there. Would have been interesting.
Move! Hold! Wait! Go!
Leloy plays the ball. And here's Craig Stapleton, and so they went looking for him.
They realise that Craig Stapleton, he's the man in charge of enforcing the aggression for the Salford side. Craig Stapleton's on his game. He's whacking those forwards, denying the yardage from his opposing forwards. Then Salford normally play well.
Turner plays that ball. Here's Malcolm Alker now. Tackled by Watine, and that's the 5th tackle. So Myler, is he going to hoist this one? Yes, once again. Greenwood under a bit of pressure, right in front of his own post, but time to gather that one. And a penalty, I think, against Halifax, because Myler was taken out as he came for that ball. And Myler signalling, should we keep the pressure on? But I think they'll go for 2 more points here.
It's Richie Myler just in the middle of your screen there. He was obstructed by the Halifax player, giving Salford the possession. And they've chose to again kick for goal, take the 2 points. Halifax will be really disappointed with that, because Miles Greenwood caught that, no worries, and I don't think that Richie Myler would have got to him. It's just in the middle of your screen. It's Lee Patterson who obstructs Richie Myler. A needless penalty really, but again a sign of desperation. Just need to relax it a little bit, get back to knocking the sets out, get Salford a little bit closer to their own line, then see how good they are.
So Wiltshire obliges with another 2 points, and Halifax probably relieved to see them just go away with 2, because it could have been a lot more painful, these last couple of penalties.
Say that, but that's still an honest play, that by Lee Patterson. Where he goes in field, he's trying to shield Miles Greenwood. He's trying to buy Miles Greenwood that extra bit of time. He didn't really need to obstruct and go into Richie Myler, but it's still an honest play. He was still trying to get and escort the player off the ball.
Wiltshire is underneath that restart and decided to take it on his own, maybe thought better of it, because Adam Bowman came in to make the tackle. They're certainly meeting them enthusiastically.
Now the line speed's picked up. You don't know who, but somebody at the back of those Halifax sticks has said, come on lads, let's get stuck in here now.
And it's Big Frank, I think, who is leading the way. He certainly was there, Frank Watine. Bowman, his assistant in that one, and Stapleton is cut down by David Wrench. Wrench back after a back problem. And Robbie Paul puts a strong kick downfield, but backspin on that, and it sits up nicely for Greenwood, and Greenwood looking for a gap in that red line.
And that's the result of a good defensive set. Robbie Paul had to kick the ball from the 40-metre line just before it even. Miles Greenwood catches the ball as it skips along the floor, and they're away. Good start to the set, and they've gained the side a penalty.
And Gardner could have done more to get out of the way there, says Dave Merrick. Just very conveniently hung around and made John Goddard struggle to get to that ball.
And that is the reward. That's the reward that Halifax got for controlling them set to 6. They controlled Craig Stapleton. He took the ball in twice in that last set of 6. They also controlled Philip Luluai, who were the big guys that they looked to get him on the front foot. But because the Halifax defence was so strong, they couldn't do that.
Watini plays the ball. Here is Wrench now, trying to go outside Stapleton and still wrestling with him. Turner is there as well. Gleeson will go on his own. 4 tackles gone. Right in front of those posts now with Ben Black. Black for Greenwood. Greenwood takes the ball, but Salford are offside.
Stuart Little then under pressure. He knew that they were outnumbered on the outside. There they go.
They're outnumbered on the right, and Damien Gibson strolls in for that try. What great thinking it was, I think, from Ben Black, who took that quick tap. And Salford was still gathering their thoughts, and Damien Gibson didn't need to think twice about that. The pass found him, and Gibson gets his 11th try of the season. Well, that was real enterprise.
Speed of 4, Bill. Ben Black so clever, but Stuart Little shooting out the line, knowing that they were caught out short, wide out. He's had to come in on Miles Greenwood, give the penalty away. You saw the good shape on the touchline from the Halifax players, but Ben Black, what a fantastic pass to Damien Gibson. But Stuart Little, there's no point turning and arguing with the referee. You've got to defend that set. Comes up with the try, Damien Gibson. And that's just from good shape. He held his shape on the sideline, and Ben Black knew where he was, and he just had to come up with that play.
Haley has missed with the conversion attempt, but Damien Gibson on target against his former club, and he'll have enjoyed that try. And Matt Callan and Martin Hall will have enjoyed it as well. Dave Lardner down in front of them, one of those injured players at the moment. He's out with a cheekbone injury, broken cheekbone. In fact, we saw him get that the last time we were here, the game against Lee. A night that they don't want reminding about here, because they lost, I think, 4 players in that game through injury. But as far as tonight goes, they've hit back again. 20 points to 10, Salford lead.
And it's just all about field position. If you get in the opposition's 20, both these teams can score the tries. So that's why defence is so important. The Salford players now, for Sean McRae, they've got to control this set of 6. They can't be bringing the ball out their own line. If any of these teams need to get down and score tries, you feel it's in the opposition's 20.
Mark a square. Wait. Go.
Well, more action to come on Sky Sports in the next couple of days. On Friday at 7:30, Sky Sports 3 HD3 Craven Park. It's Hull Kingston Rovers against the Catalan Dragons.
That was a harsh penalty. It's Andy Bowman as he takes the tackle here. There's 2 defenders. Philip Lulai, just watch his foot, just catches the ball as Andy Bowman slams it down to play it. But you need to be secure, you need to make sure that you play the ball correctly.
John Wilshire takes the tackle. Here's the incident.
Yeah, Philip Lulai's left foot just tips it there.
2, stand. Hold.
So the pressure back on Halifax now. Robbie Paul, the pass was sinking down at the toes of Paul Heighton, it is, who's just on the field. And now here's Jordan Turner. Bannister. 4 tackles gone. Can Halifax hold firm against this Salford attack? Ulker now. Heighton takes the pass just over his shoulder almost. That's the 5th tackle then. And Robbie Paul is in there directing operations, shouting at Luluai to get out of the way. Puts the kick in. It's not a good one, and they could get away here with Ben Black. Black has Gibson on his shoulder. Gibson doesn't have the pace, and the cover is back there. But they did well to get out of trouble there.
Malka showed great pace. He first of all chased down Ben Black, then carried on, looking to tackle Damien Gibson. His teammates came in to help him. Great enthusiasm from Salford.
It was Paul White who got back to make the tackle. And here's David Wrench, but again Halifax lifted by that. Again Wrench getting past the first defender. Gleeson now. Coyle. The ball finds Patterson. Patterson plays that ball. Looping pass for Greenwood. Greenwood for Black. Black puts the kick in. It's well taken by White. And he was taken in the air, says Dave Merrick.
Again, clever kick by Ben Black, but Paul White didn't take his eyes off that ball. He was put under all kinds of pressure by Damien Gibson, but came up with the play.
So the penalty eases a bit of pressure on Salford, but I think they've got problems on the sidelines. Let's hear from Ben Pro.
Craig Stapleton's the injured party, Bill. It's a cut under the left cheekbone, and it's a fairly superficial damage is the verdict from the medical team, but maybe this Halifax revival is thanks partly, you mentioned how effective he'd been in the commentary, and maybe this Halifax revival thanks partly to the fact that he is off the field.
Halifax again putting pressure on Salford that time. Just a bit of an over-enthusiasm from Damien Gibson, bringing that one to an end. But the Salford defence not looking rock solid, and it wasn't rock solid the last time these two met, of course, when they were 24-0 up and nearly blew that against this Halifax side. Myler again seizes the opportunity to test Greenwood, and Greenwood has put that one down. It's gone backwards, and Myler has got it back, and there could be in again here. There will be in again in the corner, surely, with Gardner. Despite the best efforts of Lee Patterson, I think Gardner got that one down, but video ref Thierry Alibert will have a look at that.
Richard Myler picks the ball up if he pushed the Halifax man before he picked it up.
And he also wants to see, I think, Dave Merrick, whether there was a shove on a Halifax defender by Richie Myler. But Matt Gardner, reckoning he's got his 18th try of the season, I think he got the ball down.
There's no doubt he got the ball down. It's really high kick from Richie Myler. He's the guy that chases up. You just see Jordan Turner at the top of the screen. Big Frank Wattin's doing a good impression of a wall. No, I don't think there's much of a push at all there. Both players are allowed to challenge for the ball when it's bouncing around. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, do you, Tez?
Now, Richie Myler's followed up his own kick there. You see, he doesn't push pressure. Miles Greenwood drops the ball, his feet are in the right position. Richie Myler, and he gets the try.
Try is awarded by Dave Merrick. Gardner with the score. And don't know what all the fuss was about, really.
They're playing very, very confident, this Salford side. Again, in the right part of the field. Come up with the play. Jordan Turner puts pressure on Miles Greenwood. Richie Myler's there to carry up his own pass, but look at that, they never say die. Ball in hand, they want to get it out to the big speedsters, and there was just no competition between Lee Patterson and Matt Gardner out on the wings. That's pressure for you. You follow up your kicks, you get the rewards. Gets the ball to Bannister. John Wiltshire sees Gardner's free on the wing. Just the strength from the bag, too big and too strong.
This a real touchline conversion from John Wiltshire, if he can land it, but he's pushed that one across the face of the posts. He's missed it. But Gardner on target for Salford, 24-10 ahead.
There's a lot of skill involved in that last play. Even though Gardner looked like he only had one person to beat, he had to get the ball down, ground it, whilst handing the other player off. Miles Greenwood fumbles the ball, Richie Myler picks it up and passes it on. It's great hands here. Just watch Gardner here, thumb round the ball, and he's able to put it down.
Brother Ady would have been proud of that finish. And the knock on from the restart. And the head and feet, I think, will go to Salford.
Trying to put pressure under Richie Myler. Salford players just hanging. John Goddard it was who put the pressure. Judged to have knocked the ball on. Here he goes, jumps over the top of him, carries the ball forward. Salford get the ball.
So nothing going right for Halifax at the moment. And Salford in possession once again. Here's Ian Sibbett off the bench for Salford, the former Warrington man.
Mouse trap.
Trap is sprung by Halifax very quickly on Paul White. Luluai just inside the Reds half. They lead by 24 points to 10, just coming up towards the end of the first half here at the Shea in this clash between the top two in Cooperative National League One. Ulker, bit of pressure on him, puts the kick in. It's not a bad one. It's still going. It's almost a work of genius, that from Malcolm Ulker, the way that one turned right, then took another turn.
He'll tell you he's been practicing that all week. I'm not sure whether it actually touched the sideline, me.
Well, neither is Dave Merrick in actual fact, and he's going to check with touch judge.
Scrum, Halifax head and feet.
And in fact...
Yeah, it's on this next bounce here. There you go.
Yep.
Halifax will take that though. Form the scrum. Just over 3 minutes to half-time. They're in a commanding position, and at different parts in this game they've been so dominant, but still Halifax have the ability to score whenever they get near their opponent's line. Still a very dangerous team, Halifax, at this point.
Out.
They're in possession deep in their own half. Here is Damien Gibson. Coyle on the drop from Goddard. Goddard is furious with himself. He's playing with this arm injury, John Goddard.
You've got to go forward, Bill, before you go sideways. They come off a slow play of the ball. The Salford defenders were up in John Goddard's face, didn't give him any chance to catch that ball.
Jordan Turner, Robbie Paul, now John Wilshire. Wilshire, languid runner. Wilshire is very deceptive. Long legs, very elegant player, in fact. Here's Myler, the other end of his career, Myler. What a season he's had so far. So is this young man, Turner, and he's looking for another try. He's only just short of the try line as well. Some great young talent in this red side. That's good work from marker by Paul Southern. Wilshire gets the ball away. Myler goes into reverse almost. Gleeson with the tackle. Ulker, and the error from Highton, and he is furious with himself, and then gets the penalty. That's rugby league's equivalent to racket abuse, I think.
Yeah, I think the frustration on Paul Highton's face, but you've got to give a big pat on the back to Halifax. They're still line proud. A minute and a bit left on the clock, and they still don't want to let their opponents in.
But unfortunately, they've failed to find touch with that penalty. Oh, Flanagan, big hit on Fitzpatrick.
Mark Flanagan's had a fantastic first half. A lot of stuff gone unnoticed. He hasn't done the pretty stuff. He's worked his socks off though.
So Salford in the final minute of the first half.
Boom, look at that. Ben Black catches the play, and Mark Flanagan adds his considerable weight.
Robbie Paul going across the field, Littler then stepping his way through a couple of defenders. James Haley makes the tackle. Ulker, Philip Luluai, that's the fifth tackle, and Luluai plays the ball. Ulker running at the line, and that'll be the turnover. For a moment Civic was on his shoulder. I don't think he spotted him.
And that's relieving though. Malcolm Ulker didn't just see him on his left hand shoulder, but Halifax, you've got to give this side credit. There's a number of times they've gone through this season and they've been behind 24 points last time these two teams met, but the confidence that flows in the side, and you've got to be aware, and you've got to give credit to Matt Callan, because he does give some inspirational speeches at half-time.
Joe Walsh is on just for the final few seconds of this first half as the hooter sounds. Sean McRae will go back to the dressing room, pretty satisfied with the first 40 minutes, and Matt Calland knowing that his side have got a bit of work to do, because John Wilshire in the points for his side in this first half, a try and 4 goal kicking successes for him.